to another episode of My Brothers Video Podcast. I am your host, Eric the Fact Checker, and I'm here with my brothers today. We are excited to be here today talking to you about Decision 2020, the day after the election. But listen, hold on one moment. I just realized something. It ain't over. It's still going. So please join in with us. Join online with us. Watch this here. We live right now, coming to you live right now to your doors, talking to you about the day after. So comment in on Facebook, and I'll do my best to respond to you all. Please just comment and talk to me, right? Talk to us. With that, let me go ahead and check in with the brothers. Brothers, how you doing? Let me start off with the critter. What's up, baby? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. Weekend was good. I can't complain. I'm blessed.
Damn, that was the shortest weekend intro I've heard.
I want to get into it.
Cool. All right, Baller, talk to me.
I had a great weekend. Had a surprise birthday party with my mother-in-law, dressed in the 70s outfit. Had my my outfit on with my platform shoes with my fish in them. So I was killing them. I was killing them.
Must have been 7 feet tall.
Hey, listen, I saw them damn shoes and he had this black wig on, bro. I'm not lying. I was like, what the hell's going on? And the platform with what was that, a red goldfish or something in there? Lord,
yeah,
it was
a goldfish boot.
Man. White. What they patent leathers or black? What were they?
Patent leathers.
Were they leather? Oh,
yeah.
Lord have mercy. He killing me. You should have brought a picture and showed it, bro. I should have popped one up. Old Soul, what's up, baby? How you doing?
What's going on, Old Soul here? What's up, brothers? What's going on? Listen, not much, man. On the weekend, just kind of stayed in the house, did some stuff in the family room. It rained all weekend, so it was kind of dreary weekend. So same old, just put some stuff together with the wifey and then stayed in the crib. Watch some football, though.
Look, watch some football.
Yeah.
Did Miami win?
Yes, Miami did win.
Look at the Baller's picture.
Wow.
Yeah, hey, nice picture, Baller. Nice picture. Marina Comedy, how was your weekend, bro?
It was good, man. I shot a commercial. I actually did two commercials this weekend. I did a commercial with my Philly fans. I did one with Joe Theismann, man, with the Medicare. And it was funny because I was on the phone talking to this young lady who was talking about the cowboy. And I said, I'm with one of your arch nemesis, Joe Theismann. And he heard it. He said, man, give me that phone. And he went back and forth with her for about 7 minutes, man. They was cracking up. He ended up doing an autograph for her and signed it off. Real cool people, man. Had a great conversation. Then and now I'm doing a commercial for a hearing aid. You know, as brothers, as we getting older, man, and our bodies are breaking down, I'm going to try to help break that myth of what a hearing aid looks like. So these are some cool hearing aids.
What was that?
What'd you say? Yeah, exactly. They look kind of cool. They look like AirPods, you know what I mean? But they cost about $5G. So in lieu of pay, I said, I'll take the earphones at a couple $100, you know what I'm saying? But I got a commercial coming out about that. So that was my weekend. I did two commercials. So it was cool.
Joe Theismann, huh? He was a cool guy, you said.
He cool, yeah, cool as they come, man. Cool as they come.
You must be working real hard, bro, because in some of your pictures, you be looking like this.
Who, me?
Oh,
bro.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, I mean, you know, I'm burning both ends of the fire, man. I'm doing the acting and comedy, and I'm still working. Like you see with my head looking this way, I'm actually doing the job I'm getting paid to do. So I'm still in the fight, you know what I'm saying? I ain't retired like you and everybody else.
Oh, shit, I wish I was. Not yet. Almost there. Preacher, how you doing, baby?
Hey, what's going on? I had a couple comments there. I thought for sure that he was going to go out there. The Baller was going to be out there and Smokey Robinson about to sing us a tune, but he changed the entire game. I said, okay, I see you out there, Baller. And then the comedian, man, next time you get a Redskins fan, holler at me, because it ain't going to be that same kind of conversation just for the record. It ain't going to be all sweet nothings and all of that. Hey, Joe Theismann, how you doing? That's not how we do it in Philly. I'm like, yo, you remember the body bag game? You remember that game? Okay, anyway. My weekend was fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Saturday, I just did my normal thing. And then Sunday, went into church and we had a wonderful time in the Lord. So that's it. Let's get into this right here.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Praise the Lord and take the
Amen.
cake. The Lord and
I
take the
see.
cake. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo, go ahead and take them platforms away, bro. We don't want to see them platforms no more.
I need a fishing pole.
Yeah, he's like the fish from, what is that, fish from Pittsburgh? Is that what it's
No,
called?
that was off. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I'm like, yeah, whatever, one of the two, goddamn it. Go ahead and take the patent leather plastic with white socks on. What the hell? They got basketball socks on.
Hey, that's the 70s, bro.
So, nah, he killing me. So my weekend, gentlemen, was good. I didn't do much. I just relaxed and I was prepping. Hey, I was prepping for the vote, baby. I was prepping for the vote. I really didn't do jack doo-doo around the crib. I just relaxed. So I am here today. And listen, it is the day after the election. I want to talk about it. I want to get right into it. Election 2020. First of all, let me start off with this. How many of y'all started off watching the election as soon as it, kicked in? What time, what was the earliest you started watching the election? Donald?
Hey, man, 6:59.
In the morning?
No, 6:59, because I voted early, but I tuned in at 6:59. So it's from 7, and that went all the way to about 1:30. Then I had enough. I was mad. So whew.
Who else? What? Also, did you watch it at all?
Yeah, I watched it from about 7 o'clock. I started at 7, and then I shut down by 10 because I gotta get my beauty rest.
Baller, did you watch it? I saw you went out and voted. Did you watch it, Baller?
I actually worked. I have a polling place that I work. I oversee a election area, so I didn't get home till after 10. Then I watched from the time I got home till maybe 11:45. After that, I was beat because you got to figure I'm up at 5:30 in the morning that day. I was burnt.
Marine, did you watch it? You on mute, baby. You on mute.
I was very similar, like the crooner. I was so invested in it. It kind of almost reminded me of a basketball or football game that I didn't want to watch because I had money on it. You know what I mean? My stomach was kind of upset. And when I started seeing the trickling of the results, it was upsetting me. I'm not lying, man. I've never been so invested in an election in my lifetime than this one here. And I think it really, I watched it a little bit. Then I hope I woke up this morning and the results I wanted was there and they weren't. So it kind of set me back a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, man. I'm almost taking this personal. I'm almost taking it like a Philly fan. I mean, how they take football and sports. You know how they take it to the heart. I'm feeling that way about this election, man.
You can't take it like a Philly fan. You always say maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Hey, listen. Let's get into it though. So let's talk about it, right? I was up. I got up, man. I was like prepped, bro. I done pulled out my computer. I was taking notes. I was calculating all the states and putting stuff together. And I don't typically do this, but I wanted to talk about it because you just can't believe the goddamn polls, right? Polls have you like all over the place. And I'm telling you, since Trump won in 2016, I just don't believe polls, right? And so, I was nervous and I was watching it. And so when we talk about the Electoral College, so here's a few things that I wanted to just highlight very quickly, right? So Georgia and Pennsylvania started counting at 7 a.m. on election day. And, but Georgia and North Carolina provided some extensions because some of the polls had to open up late, right? And some of the things that were on a ballot across the different states were legalization of marijuana. That was on the ballot in Arizona, New Jersey, Montana, Mississippi, and South Dakota. And then the other thing is that we had 11 governors up for election, and all the Senate seats were up for election, is my understanding, and of course, all the seats for the House. And so, just real quick, talking about the Senate races, Well, actually, before we get to Senate races, we'll talk about that. But like Trump, when I watched yesterday, Trump got his first state, and Donald, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Indiana that reported in, and that's Mike Pence's state, right? They
Right.
reported in, and he got 11 electoral votes there. But then Biden got Vermont. I think he got 3 electoral votes, right? And so I was just kind of watching him. So we don't have live TV. I was watching YouTube, and so watching live news on NBC. And so I was shocked, man, and kind of looking at the numbers going back and forth, and everybody was talking about Florida. And I want to get right into Florida real quick. Why did we lose Florida?
It's clear. Miami-Dade County.
Talk to me.
Miami-Dade County.
Miami-Dade
55% of the Cuban vote went to Donald Trump. Also, when you think about Florida, who retires in Florida?
White people.
Who?
White people.
Exactly. No offense to my Caucasian brothers.
Older white people.
That's exactly right. So that's who retires to Florida. So Florida is always going to be a tough road to hoe. But what's unexpected is the huge Latino turnout. And I believe he might have even got something like 10% of the African American vote, which is scary within itself. But that's, in my opinion, is how we lost Florida.
So it's a valid point. I think that the analysts say the same thing. That's part of the reason why we lost. But why do y'all think we lost the Spanish vote?
Oh,
the Latino X vote.
I can explain that too, but go ahead if somebody else wants to.
I think a lot of people have taken the Democrats, as far as Latinos and Blacks, that they feel like they've been taken advantage of, that they give that vote away to the Democrats. And I think a lot of people have been speaking out against that, is making people go, are you just giving your vote away? Not even thinking about the results. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, right. No, so here's the thing, right? So most of the Cuban immigrants come from Cuba. Cuba's a socialist country. The Republicans do a great job labeling Democrats as the party of socialism. So if I'm coming from a socialist country, I'm not going to vote for someone who may be a socialist. And so therefore, the messaging that the Republican Party is doing is being very, it's impactful in the Cuban community. So that's why Cubans traditionally lean towards the Republican Party, because of their experiences from the country that they fled, their own country, Cuba.
Very interesting. That's good. Man, I never knew that.
So I think, no, and he makes a valid point. I think Trump honed in on fear. He pushed socialist, and to that point, you're correct. Miami-Dade County has a lot of Latinx people, right, in the county, and they voted in that direction in fear of what they used to experience back in the day of Cuba. And so it was interesting because I was watching the news last night, and they were talking about, well, let's see how, if we're losing the Latinx vote over here in Miami, how is that impacting Texas? How is that impacting Arizona? How is that impacting California? But the individuals they're coming from different environments. Like my wife, she's from Mexico, bro. She was pissed. She was like, what in the world? Like, how are they voting for this individual, knowing that he's doing what he's doing? But they're looking at, like, they're fearful because he's preaching fear. To that point, I think he's used nothing but fear tactics. He's stood on nothing politically other than fear.
It's actually, because also what I got was, as you would see Trump signs, Biden signs, the letter E would have 3 red lines. They said that, they looked at that as socialism. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard about that as well.
If you give that information, just like what the preacher was saying, and Kev was on board with too, socialism, like, you have to look at the signs, the three lines in his name, that's saying socialism. So again, what the preacher was saying, I would kind of agree. Like, this is a fear. He's portraying it in his sign, in his name. So that's why, part of that, if I'm get this in my head like that, I may end up voting for Trump,
You know something else, man? It's like when you're a label, being a socialist, and you're not, but Biden being the way he is, he can't denounce anyone because the Democratic Party is the party supposed to come in and bring everybody together. So therefore, you know, that hurt him because he got labeled right along with socialism. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
so go ahead, Donald.
I was just going to add to this. So we all know that the platform of Bernie Sanders, AOC, the Green New Deal, even Kamala Harris, they were all on board with this platform, this Green New Deal, getting rid of fossil fuels, blah, 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 blah. So what the Republican Party again did is they put that albatross around Biden's neck. And that's why, if you notice during the debates, he specifically said, you're voting for Donald Trump, because Bernie Sanders ran as a Democrat in 2016. And the reason why he ran as a Democrat and not as a socialist, as he really is because he needed the Democratic National Committee. He needed the financing of the Democratic Party. But if he had to stay true to his own beliefs, he should have ran as a socialist, because Bernie Sanders has been a socialist since the 60s. And he doesn't denounce it. He doesn't denounce it. But when you think about America, okay, America is a socialist country. And you say, what do you mean by that? Do we not give aid to farmers who we're not, because of different trade deals? Do we not, I mean, obviously the welfare system is a socialist. Do we not have the Congress that's on Medicare? Isn't that a form of socialism? They're not paying for that medical insurance, right? It's part of their package. So in some regards, the country, yes, we are a democracy, but we do have some socialism values. So I don't,
like you listed, like also the military, you know, and every last one of the people in Congress are getting benefits from being socialist society.
Let me say this to that comment. So interesting you make that comment, Donald, because there was a Buddhist. He's a writer, actually. He's a public speaker here in the U.S. I don't recall the name, and I'll have to look it up. But he said we are all born to be generous. We are educated to be greedy. And think about it, right? When we're children, right? Most of the times when we're playing with each other, you know, children aren't super selfish, right? When we're playing, they're having fun and just kind of sharing, right? But as you get older, you become educated to be greedy, basically, right? And so when you think about us as a country, right, inherently we are, you're right, I would agree, we're a country, I won't go as far as to say socialist country, but we're definitely a country that cares. From a Democratic Party, we care about the people, we care about making sure everyone is taken care of, right? And that is what we stand on. It's unfortunate, though, that an individual like Trump can change the verbiage, right? Change the wording and create literally this entire platform has been on fear. And if you look at the results, he is running neck and neck, and we are out there. But guess what? Meaning we, you know, Black folks, we've gotten out and we are voting tremendously out there. But guess what? There are also, in addition to white folks voting with us, there are more white folks going out and voting for Trump now.
Yes.
And that's why he's still running, right? That's why he's still as close as he was. We expected that our vote would overshadow, but more and more people are coming out because of fear, I believe.
But I told you not. I did tell you not to bet on that. I told you that if every African American in America voted, we still couldn't vote him out of office by ourselves. We needed 20% of the Caucasian vote to vote for Biden and Harris. Otherwise,
you know.
Well, I just seen he's Biden projected to win Michigan, so that's a positive.
So interesting. Let's talk about it real quick. So here's the states that Biden has. He, first of all, this is based on AP, Associated Press. NBC, they didn't call this one. So Arizona, Associated Press called Arizona. And basically, but NBC says it's too early. Now, I'm not sure if it's too early or not. We'll see. But in looking at some of Associated Press's disclaimers, I'm assuming they're saying we don't really make the call until we're fairly confident. Yes, Donald.
I just want to add, So I know a lot of this is unpopular, right? But I watch a lot of Fox News. The Fox News very rarely tells the truth. However, Fox News has Arizona going to Biden. They are Trump's. They are Trump's.
Hey, Trump
news
supporters
network.
100%.
Trump supporters.
So
Yeah.
if they have it, then it's definitely going to.
Tell you what,
Good, and that's a beautiful thing.
What I think helped Arizona out was the McCains, man. I think the McCains helped
The
Arizona.
backlash from the McCains.
Yes, I think because
Yeah.
What he did to him. What he did to him. Yeah. How he disgraced that man.
Well,
man.
And it was good messaging.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was good.
It was
messaging.
a red state. It was a red state in 2016. So Trump took it in 2016. We flipped it back.
Yep.
So we got 11 electoral votes. California has been blue for a very long time. Colorado, we took Colorado. California, I wanted to highlight very quickly. In addition to Biden taking California, there were 3 props that were really prominent in California. Prop 17, restoring former felon votes. They voted yes on that. Prop 22, app-based drivers as contractors, not employees. They voted yes, so that means Uber and Lyft won't have to hire these individuals and employees, so they're going to stay as contractors. Now, I personally voted no on that from my personal perspective, but I had to put myself in a position. If I were an app driver, would you want full-time benefits or not? And so my response was yes, I would, right? I'd want to be considered an employee, have the ability to have 401k, right? Social Security, being increased, putting money towards Social Security, et cetera. But then I was talking to some others, they were like, well, a lot of people use this gig as a second gig. And so it passed, right? So Ubers and Lyfts, they won't need to classify people as employees. And then Prop 23 here in California was based on dialysis clinical standards, which basically, there was a number of standards, but one of the big ones was that they need to have a physician on site during treatment for the patients, right? So essentially, dialysis clinics, they open up at like 5:30 in the morning and start dialysis and close like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and a physician will need to be on site. So that ended up not passing because that could have potentially shut down some clinics, possibly. And so they ended up not passing that. And there's another long story tied to Prop 23 where they were really trying to take away some of the insurance. That is, and when I say they, let me be very specific. The insurers did not want to have to pay as much money for dialysis. And so this is another route by which they were trying to circumvent the process. Colorado, we picked up Connecticut, we picked up DC, we picked up Delaware, we picked up Hawaii, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Maine. I want to talk about Maine, and Donald, you may know about this. I didn't know this until just now, but Maine and Nebraska, they do split electoral votes. I don't understand how that concept works, but because we picked it up, Biden gets 3 and Trump gets 1 for that. But Donald, do you know that? That was the first I've heard of split electoral votes.
Well, the split, from what I understand, was based on the percentage of votes. And then remember, we talked about this. I think you even mentioned this before when we were one of the podcasts when we were talking about gerrymandering and how certain the electoral college, who's ever in charge of that particular state, they determine how the electoral votes go. And I believe it has something to do with that, because you clearly see here that, Maine, that could have made a major difference. I just can't believe that. I'm looking at it too.
Yeah. So there's 4 votes total, and then 3 of them went to Biden and 1 to Trump. Michigan was another red state last year. It's been called, and we flipped that back. Minnesota, thank the Lord. New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York. A quick shout out to New Jersey. They legalized recreational use of marijuana. And so did Arizona. Arizona legalized recreational use of marijuana. And then we have Oregon, Rhode Island, Virginia, Vermont, Washington, and then Wisconsin, right? And so we flipped 3. We flipped 3. Arizona, Michigan,
and now you got
Wisconsin, right?
And
now we have Michigan. Now, Trump has Iowa, Idaho, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri. Speaking of Kentucky, I was pissed because McConnell won.
No, all
Like,
right.
I'm not
And he won
surprised,
easily.
I was
but I'm
like,
pissed.
But he
It's
won
300
easily.
plus
too.
1,000 points.
It's really hard.
Man, he cleaned her up.
And she
So I wasn't
spent
happy about
$70
that.
million.
70 million.
He spent $70 million to try to unseat him.
Interesting. So he also picked up, so I said Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska, again, another split electoral college state. So there was a total of 5. Biden got 1, Trump got 4.
Right.
And then Ohio he picked up. We were trying to hopefully get that, but he had that last year as well. Oklahoma, South Carolina, again, another senator vote that I was not happy with. Lindsey Graham, like Jamie Harrison spent millions of dollars, and old ass, two-faced, double-faced Lindsey Graham, like, I don't know how he saved his ass. I can't believe it, fellas, quite honestly.
Because
so any thoughts on that?
The voters look like him. And let me just talk about West Virginia, just real quick. I'm gonna be brief because I've been doing a lot of talking.
Yep.
West Virginia, it's only 5 electoral votes. Now, in that state, 30,000 people were without health insurance. They voted for Trump in 2016 because he told them that he was going to turn over Obamacare. They didn't realize Obamacare was the Affordable Health Care Act. So they still, even 4 years later, they still don't understand that the Affordable Health Care and Obamacare is the same damn thing. So you voting against your own interests, I don't understand. But
here's the problem, Frank. Their
ahead.
messaging is on point, right? Obamacare. And the Democrats should counteract that with Obamacare. Like, as much as they say Obamacare, they should be saying Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act that you currently have, right? It should be consistent, but they don't do it because we playing niceties. We don't have time for that shit, quite frankly.
Well, you know,
right?
The answer should be they don't even have. What happened?
It comes through your computer, baby. That's how it works. Go ahead.
Yeah, my phone went through my computer. That's what happened. Hey, what I was saying, man, is they don't even have an alternative to the Affordable Health Plan. You see what I mean? And we don't even bring that up. They've been talking about putting this thing out for what, 4 years?
Repeal and replace.
Repeal and whatever you replacing it with.
Something better.
Nothing.
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Nothing.
It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. I guarantee you, beautiful. That's what he says all the time, bro.
But they have nothing. They have nothing to replace it with, but they want to get rid of it.
You know what Trump is, but what y'all just demonstrated. He changed the narrative every time he speaks.
Yes, he does.
He has so much BS going on that
he claimed he claimed that after he got sworn in.
He said another. He's a genius, man. Every
He
time
claimed that after he was going to get sworn in, that he was going to reveal what the new plan was after he got sworn in.
Right.
It was his first 100
days. Do you believe that? Oh, so exactly. Do you believe that though?
No.
The wall. What about the wall?
And
listen, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. People do believe it though.
Yeah.
And my question is why?
If you don't stand for
and I want to really talk about our black population. Like, why do they believe these things?
I'll tell you something. I got this on this. The black people that I've seen, the prominent blacks who are speaking up and saying they're for Trump. You know why they're saying this? And I'm convinced of this. Because Biden is talking about taxing people that make $400,000 at a higher rate. So they're not speaking for you and me. They're speaking for themselves. They can give a damn about us. The people that make 50, 60, 70,000, the people who are affected the most by Biden are the people making the money and the corporations. The same people that Trump got in his pocket. And these dumb ass Negroes that are jumping on this? Come on, man. Seriously, you think this dude is about you? He did nothing for you for 4 years. Then all of a sudden, he gonna offer you $500 million. He put the carrot in front of your dumb ass face, and you all over it. He gonna help black business. Do you realize that more black businesses have closed under Trump than any other president in the history? Like 41,000, some crazy number like that. And you gonna give $500 million, divide that by 41,000. Tell me how much that is per business. It ain't no whole lot of goddamn money, man.
Hey, Marie, you passionate about that. Listen,
Man,
and it's true. It boils down to ignorance.
Ignorant.
Right?
Absolutely.
It boils down to ignorance.
Put the carrot in front of their faces. Here,
here
goes some money.
And that's the problem, though, right? But how do you educate someone who's being ignorant? So there's conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance, right? Like conscientious stupidity is like I'm just purposely gonna be stupid about it. I know the answer, but I don't care. Sincere ignorance is I don't know. Like you can't change someone who's conscientiously stupid. You can't change their opinion, but someone who's sincerely ignorant, you can. Now here's an example, and I probably mentioned this before. I was talking to my son about voting, and I was like, so get ready. Here's the voting thing. Here's what you should do. What are your thoughts? Where are you going? He's like, well. There is, I got no real choice. The lesser two evils. This is what he said. I said, the lesser two evils. What do you mean? Okay. He's 19 years old. Lesser two evils. Well, this is the two things. He's like, one, Biden's going to raise he's going to put taxes on people earning over $400,000 a year. And I looked at him. I didn't look at him. I looked at the phone because I was talking to him on the phone, and I said, okay, $400,000 a year, but why you worried about that? You ain't making that money right now. What? You barely making what you're making. So be conscientious of where you are now. When you get there to that point, then worry about what's going to happen, right? Then the second thing you mentioned was Biden won't support federal legalization of marijuana throughout, the U.S. And I wasn't sure, where Biden stood on that. And I did some research, but at the same time, it really boils down to, when I think about his perspective, it really boils down to the local states, whether or not they are. Because he's like, eventually he may want to try to open some business, right? Okay, so be it. But that's local. That's more local versus federal, because local states are supporting medicinal use as well as recreational use. So, where are you going? So I basically left him with this. Make sure you do your research and don't depend on anyone else's input as to why you want to vote, right? Like what you see on TV, even what I'm telling you, this is what I told him, even what I'm telling you, you go and verify the information, right? Because you can't just take for fact what I say is true. And what you find on Google and all those things, you can't just take for fact that they're true. You need to look at multiple sources to come up with a decision. So do the research, just don't depend on what others say. And that is where sincere ignorance occurs, because people are listening to other people and what they say, and they might look up to these people or admire these people, right? You take the Ice Cubes, the Kanyes, right? The 50 Cents, and then they start voting in those directions. And that's one of the biggest issues. So that's my little rant. But I want to.
Second part, though.
Go ahead.
It's almost. Trump's people are like a cult. You gotta understand something about that.
Yeah.
When you have that cult mentality, no matter what you say, that man can go out and shoot a black man sitting out front right now. And they will find a reason to justify him doing that. Just like his taxes. That man ain't paid for $750 taxes in 15 years, right? And you know what they said? Well, he's smart to find a way not to pay him.
But
how ignorant is that?
And the comedian, you also have to realize that he talks their language.
Yes.
He actually talks their language.
It's a cult.
Because we actually have never heard, I've never heard in my lifetime, that type of presidential talk.
Never.
Oh, kill him. Put him in jail. Punch him in the house. Look at that black guy over there. I'm like,
I love Texas. You know what I mean? Running the Biden's vehicle, and he comes out and says, I love Texas. He don't condone it. He's condoning that. He's condoning white supremacy. He doesn't ever say, I'm against it.
They're good people too.
Oh, they great people.
Oh, okay. So then, so we here all deal with logic, right? We all process information. So riddle me this, Batman. 18% of black people voted for Donald Trump. With all of those facts that you just laid out, he got 18% according to Vox. He got 18% between the black men and black women vote. How? And it's not. And so for me, I'm gonna tell you. But for me,
I'll tell you.
for me, anybody over 40, we kind of we have a different mindset.
Yeah, we
okay.
do.
In order to change the way this America is going to look moving forward, it's not going to be up to us, because we stuck in our ways, right?
Yeah.
Some of y'all on this call was going to vote Democrat no matter who they put up there. I wasn't one of those people. You had to earn my vote. I wasn't just going to go vote for you because you're not Donald Trump. I needed to be able to relate to some of the things that you're saying on your platform. How is it going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit my kids? People that were born around 96, 97, 98, that generation, and obviously the 2000s, the people that voted, that's the generation that's going to have to affect change. Because as long as the people in Congress and in Senate are the old, they got the 6-year terms, it is a swamp. And yes, Donald Trump, he has a cult following, right? Because again, just like Ronald Reagan, it was his personality. He was a TV personality. He was not a politician. They all fell in love with that aspect of him, okay? And he knew exactly how to whistle to certain groups, right? He knew exactly how not to offend. But my question is, and whoever's watching our podcast, I know personally, I know black supporters of Donald Trump. Please write on the comment section, what was it about Donald Trump that leaned to your direction? Because I'm curious to see. It's not. I mean, it's just me. I'm curious.
You know what? They tell you exactly. They tell you exactly why they voted. They overlook everything, man. It's like I'm like, wow.
So wait. Be specific. Be specific, Leon. What did they tell you? What have you heard?
Reverend women hoo-ha. They got women talking about you can grab me anytime. What kind of mess is that? That's so disrespectful, man. Then he
I'm gonna be real specific.
He said this thing about
Let me be real specific.
The China virus. Man, that is the most racial thing you can say. He got
No, but to Frank,
go ahead.
Leon, to Donald's point, what have black people said are reasons why they vote? That's the question.
What I found from the black people that said they vote for Trump, most of them were small business owners. Most of them have the perception, because Trump is a businessman, that he helps businesses. This is their perception. This is really what they see, even though if they do their work, do the research, and find how many black businesses have closed under Donald Trump, they wouldn't vote that way. But the ones that I've talked to have a perception that he helps, that he is the business president. He's about the business. Black or white, it don't matter. As long as you business, you're going to get tax breaks, you're going to get money, you're going to get funding, you're going to get all of that. But the funny part, when they gave out the money, they ran out of the money because Trump took care of all his people first. And a lot of black businesses closed down during the coronavirus because there was no more money.
I'm sorry. I had a young lady who's college educated. She's 42 years old. And I had a 30-minute conversation. And I laid down my point after point after point. I identified. I even had things that I had saved on my phone that came off of the Fox News network, because they don't believe in anything. I actually watch Fox all the time, and I record little 8 or 9 seconds where they actually told the truth. I'm playing videos for her, and I said, how can you sit here and tell me that Donald Trump's not a racist? After all the things I just identified, it was 8 bullet things that I identified, and she looked at me in my face and says, I don't care, that's fake news.
Here it is. Cult. It's a cult, I'm telling you.
So here, let me say this. I'm curious to see what people would say as well. Are some of the reasons why they voted for Trump, black people specifically. But let me say this. Trump is the greatest narcissist I've ever seen, with a huge pride issue, right? And Trump will say anything, I don't care if he sat on the Democratic side. Like if he had supporters, he would go in their direction just so that he could fulfill his prophecy of doing, being a big, great, beautiful guy, right? And and that's just a fact, right? He is a magician, narcissist, liar who continues to lie. And now, because he's on the Republican side, he knows what works to get Republicans to vote for him, and that's fear mongering, right? Call the president socialist, talk about Kamala, talk about all these different things that are very negative, but not run on anything that is really consequential, like important to what America needs. And that's what Trump does, and does it well. And to Crooner's point, he is incredible at doing it, and that's unfortunate for us. But here's what it really says. It says, if you look at these states that he won, it tells you how really divided we are as a country.
That's
right.
That was the point I wanted. This is what I was waiting for this whole podcast. When I looked at those numbers, it disturbed me to a point where I realized they don't care nothing about black people, man. And we need to realize that this country is in trouble. We are a divided country.
Yeah.
That man is the spearhead of that division. And if you look at the people who are voting for that man, those are the states that they don't give a damn about you. Because this man has.
And let me clarify.
Yes.
But let's be clear. Clear, comedian, that not all white people are bad. We have a lot of white people support us, right? No, I know. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure it's out there, right? To your point,
from a black man's perspective, when I look at those numbers, and I see the things that have been proven that this man has done, yet you can still get behind him. You can just look and see when he talked about them brothers in New York that was innocent, and he wanted them what, life or executed.
It's fake news.
To Kev's point, here this is all right. This is foundational, right? To Kev's point, 68,161,337 people voted for this man.
Yes, they did.
Out of a population of 327 million people in America, in spite of his rhetoric, in spite of his racism, in spite of all the things that he stands for, 68 million people and counting voted for this man.
Yes.
Actually, you want to talk about divided?
That hurts. That
hurts. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what hurts.
It woke me up. It woke me up.
It tells you about.
So listen. But there has to be some portion of people who are just full on ignorant, right? In a sense, I mean, they're ignorant in the sense of they don't really know, right? Like if they really understood the truth, because he preaches fear and he does it really well, right? He preaches this around the country and he does it really well, and people start to fall, and they get fearful, right, of these things. Like when COVID came out, I was fearful. I was like, shit, I'm not going out, man. I was fearful, right, of like my life. So I can imagine how people get fearful. So I think of that 68 million is a lot of people. I'm curious too, how many of they really were fully educated and took the time to really be educated? How many would not vote in that corner, right?
I'm sorry,
but it doesn't take away from the fact.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take from the fact that they vote for them, Donald. I agree with you 200%. But I just want to say that I'm sure there are some who just don't quite understand and go and vote.
They don't understand, Vance. You know, I mean, you giving them a pass. They don't want to understand.
Yeah, no. I listen. I have hope that.
Let me put this.
No, I do. I have hope that hold on a moment. I have hope that our society is better than what we see right now, and I have hope that there are people that are definitely, they're placing this vote and they're ignorant about it. And I feel like there are people who are straight out there doing it because they don't care about us, right? They don't care about, what impacts us, the things that happen to us. But I think there are people who do care, but they're more fearful of other stuff that they're deciding, oh, I'm gonna, go in this direction, right? And so I have hope, right, that is, there are more people out there than, I only could hope that there's 68 million that really truly don't give a shit about us, right? But with that, what were you going to say, Baller?
Well, this is a question I want to pose. Let's have this question. Biden gets in. Now, we understand that there's some Republicans, many Republicans, follow behind Trump. To me, personally, fearful of any repercussions that he may impose. Okay, now he's out. I think, and I hope, I'm feeling that some of those Republicans that was in the back are going to come to the forefront to ride with Biden now and to move our country forward. Because, all right, I see this guy as a fool, a liar, and all these other things. Now you got a few that's been in the forefront since day one that's going to ride with Trump and going to ride against Biden once he officially gets into office. But hopefully we'll have enough Republicans to say, I'm glad we got this fool out of here, because I was looking at a number where it was, as far as DC was concerned, 6% voted for Trump. 6% voted for Trump. Now, we look at the other country, I'm like, yo, what the hell? Where did it flip at that only 6% voted for Trump and 94 voted for Biden out of DC? You know, and that was just a question mark I had, that, you know, everything is such a disparity. Had those numbers been consistent across the country, we probably would have been having a different conversation today.
But what you're talking about, B, as far as Republicans stepping up, you're talking about bipartisanship, right? As far as in the House and in the Senate. And I'm pretty sure Preacher's going to jump in on this. You know, we had the same issue when we voted Obama in. See, what people don't understand was we were in the emotional state of having Obama in there, right? But people, I'm pretty sure we're going to all get into this conversation. People forgot about the Senate. People forgot about the House. Now, let's just say in all intents and purposes, Biden doesn't get in there. You know, what people should have done if they were Biden supporters, should have just voted for the straight ticket, right? But now you still don't have control. Biden gets in there. And again, I had this conversation with the House. Biden gets in there. We still don't have control of the Senate or the House. So you're looking at possibly President Obama.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct.
They got the Senate.
We don't have control of the Senate.
Sorry, my mistake. They have.
Hold on. Let me clarify. No. They have the Senate. We have the House.
Okay.
That's how it was before. Based on the numbers I currently see right now, 46 Dems in the Senate to 48 Republicans in the Senate, and then there's 2, I think, Libertarians. And then in the House, we control the House, so Nancy still will hold the House. They did gain a couple of seats, so we have 231 to 204. And I'm just going to, fellas, I need to close out with this here. We don't control the Senate, and I don't think we're going to get the additional numbers to even up. I know we're still looking at some states like Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if they called the Senate races there. Do you know how did they call the Senate races?
They have not.
Yeah, so we may. I mean, and so we have Alaska and Nevada as well. I don't know. Those are still states that are quote unquote too close or too early to call. Alaska's leaning Republican, Nevada's leaning Democrat, Georgia's leaning Republican, North Carolina's leaning Republican, and PA is leaning Republican as it stands right now, without the votes being all the mail-in votes being counted. But what I can say is this: if Biden wins, and I'm feeling confident that he will, Trump's going to sue. He's already started the procedure of trying to sue. That's number one. Number two, Biden gets into office. We still need to figure out how do we get things passed, because Mitch is, the devil Mitch is still in the Senate and controlling the Senate. So that's going to be a problem, right? And we're moving things through the House. So the final results for the governor's race is that last year there were 11 governors up for re-election, 7 Republicans and 4 Democrats. That is now, after 2020, there's 3 Democrats and 8 Republicans. So Delaware, North Carolina, and Washington, they have Democrat governors. Republicans in Indiana, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, New Hampshire, Utah, Vermont, and Wisconsin. So listen, here's my final question to you all. It's just kind of a simple answer, because I do need to close out. When is this going to be over? When we going to have a decision? Anybody?
I'm looking. I'll be honest with you. I say Monday. I would say Monday to get more definitive numbers.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say about 6 months after after he threw all the stuff out to try to drag this thing out, because I don't see this thing being settled within the next 90 days. I promise you that. I just don't see it. I think Trump is going to fight this thing tooth and nail to the end. It's going to go at least another 90, 60 days.
Well, a definitive president, yeah, I agree. But definitive numbers, I'm saying
numbers, yeah. Numbers by Monday. I'll say by Monday, easy. But
the reason why
got the to follow.
Yeah.
Hold on. Everybody, we talking over each other. Go ahead, one person at a time. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, comedian.
I'm saying, as far as the numbers, yeah, I agree. By the weekend, we should have the numbers.
Right.
But as far as this thing being clear,
no,
I'm thinking 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I say by the numbers we're gonna have a decision tonight.
How about Trump saying? How about Trump agreeing?
No, Chuck is never gonna agree.
He's never going to agree.
I don't believe we're going to have the numbers. I don't have confidence that we're going to have the numbers, because they said earlier today that there was still 1 million ballots between absentee, military, and he's going to go to court for Pennsylvania because there's 120,000 plus ballots.
I got something real quick.
Supposedly was received today.
Something real quick. I got to get this real quick. Bernie Sanders came on today. He said something very interesting. He said Republicans go and vote at the ballots. That's what Republicans do. So when the numbers come in, they'll slight to the Republicans. Democrats are more write-in and later as far as voting. So the numbers are going to come in later. And he said, I told y'all to watch out for this, because what's going to happen is Trump is going to claim victory. And then all those numbers are going to come in and show that he didn't win, because the Democratic numbers are going to come in later. And then he's going to have his stance about fraud in the election. Bernie Sanders said that verbatim today. And this is exactly what's taking place. Look at it. It is shaping up to be exactly what he said. Wow.
Listen, I heard you. That's a valid point. It was stated the mail-in ballots are coming in later, and that is a big deal.
Yes.
I don't care that they're coming in later as long as he wins, right? And so hopefully we can fight this. Everybody listening to this podcast, be strong, be patient. Don't get stressed out. I was listening to a video this morning. I forget the young lady's name, but here's the deal: we can't let anybody take our power, meaning our personal power, right? And so you as the individual, don't allow yourself to get all stressed out. Don't allow yourself to get all worked up, because you essentially really control your destiny no matter what. No matter who's in office, you control your destiny and what you do, all right, ultimately. So don't really allow these things to get you frustrated, but be patient. I'm confident Biden going to pull through. I was a little nervous in the beginning, but I'm confident. And so this is Eric the Fact Checker with my brothers here, and we want to thank y'all so much. If you enjoyed this, please do subscribe. Also, listen, answer those questions that the preacher put out. I'm curious to see what y'all, if you voted for Trump, what y'all put as the reason why, because I'm always open to a educated debate about it. So, especially when I got the preacher on my backside there, right? Blasting some of those things out there. Anyways, love y'all. Enjoy. We out. Peace.
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 True, my brother.